Hi, I'm Leon Pattenberg with SurvivalCommonSense.com. When you look for a survival knife or a bushcraft knife or something like that, what length of blade do you need? Do you need a big knife? Do you need a small knife? We're going to help you decide what length of blade is best for your knife. Let's start with your basic, inexpensive utility knife. This blade is about an inch or thereabouts. Most of your cutting will be with this, so essentially you're only going to be using about half an inch. The 1 to 2 inch blades are very useful. This is my everyday carry Swiss Army knife. I use about this much of the blade for most of my everyday work. This knife has about an 1.5 inch blade. It's useful. This is a small game knife. This spay blade is about an 1.5 inch long, but it's really good for cleaning rabbits and squirrels. A 2 to 3 inch blade is generally the big blade on your pocket knife. These are extremely useful for a lot of the work you do with folding knives. This knife shows a lot of wear because it's been used quite a bit. This knife is an excellent knife for upland game hunting or some situation where you're hunting and you need to draw or field dress the birds. I think a 3.5 to 4 inch blade is just about perfect for field dressing big game or as a hunting knife. These two 4-inch blades have been used pretty extensively. They work real well. Much bigger and it gets to be cumbersome, much smaller and they get to be just a little too small. These blades are just a little bit over 4 inches. They're like 4.5. The purpose of them is to make more of a utility knife and more of a knife that's designed for bushcraft. There's something to be said for a 5 to 6 inch blade on a survival knife. This SRK, I've carried it for about 20 years. It's got some wear on it, but it's been used extensively for field dressing big game. This Bark River Sahara is one of my latest acquisitions. I really like the size of this blade, the shape, and everything else. It's a good compromise between a straight-on bushcraft knife and a survival knife. When you start talking 6 to 7 inch blades, I think you're starting to get into the specialty knives, the butcher knives, the fillet knives, or whatever it might be, something that is going to be used as more of a tool. These fillet knives, this one will extend out to 9 inches. These are about 6 inches each. Now these are butcher knives. They're designed for specific purposes. The blades are 10 inches to 7 or 8 inches, depending on what kind of knife you get. These are specialized tools designed to do a special job. They're not going to be your best choice for a survival knife. Once you get past about a 10-inch blade, you're into some really big knives. A machete has its uses. I use a 14-inch very frequently for mitering snow blocks in igloos. I've also used machetes pretty extensively in areas that had a lot of jungle-like growth. They're a very useful knife, but again, they're very specialized. So what length of blade do you need on your knife? Well, that's a good question. Probably the best idea is to think about a survival scenario you could end up in, and then consider what knife would most meet the needs of that particular situation. Everybody will probably come up with a different scenario, and everybody will probably need a different knife. This is SurvivalCommonSense.com. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we helped you decide on a blade length. Stay safe.